don't know how I made it here.
I don't know how I made it here.
Oh, it's by the grace of God.
Oh, it's by the grace of God.
I don't know how I made it here.
I don't know how I made it here.
I know it's by the grace of God.
I know it's by the grace of God.
I don't know how I made it here.
I don't know how I made it here.
I know it's by the grace of God.
I know it's by the grace of God.
I don't know how I made it here.
I don't know how I made it here.
I know it's by the grace of God.
I know it's by the grace of God. I made it by the grace of God.
I'm still here.
By the grace of God.
I made it.
I made it by the grace of God.
I'm still here.
By the grace of God.
I don't know how I made it here.
I don't know how I made it here.
I know it's by the grace of God.
I know it's by the grace of God.
I don't know how I made it here.
I don't know how I made it here.
I know it's by the grace of God.
I know it's by the grace of God.
I made it.
I made it by the grace of God.
I'm still here.
By the grace of God.
I made it.
I made it by the grace of God.
I'm still here.
By the grace of God.
I made it.
I made it.
I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here by the grace of God.
Hey, I made it.
I made it.
I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here by the grace of God.
I made it.
I made it.
I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here by the grace of God.
Hey, I made it.
I made it.
I'm here.
I'm here.
I made it.
I'm here by the grace of God.
I made it.
I made it.
I'm here.
I'm here.
I made it. Hey, I'm here.
I'm here.
I made it. I'm here. I made it. I'm here. Oh, I made it. Hey, I'm here. I made it. I'm here. I was blind, but now I see. I made it. I'm here. Don't think it's fair. He lifted me. Hey, I made it. Hey, I'm here. I made it. Hey, I'm here. I made it. I'm here. Hey, I made it. I'm here. Hey, I
Well, good evening and happy Wednesday to everybody. We're certainly glad that you have joined us on this wonderful Wednesday for our midweek empowerment. We are excited to have you join us in our virtual sanctuary on today. And as you're coming on, please like and share, hit that share button on tonight, because I do know that you're going to be blessed by our time together on this evening. We are excited to have one of our youth and young adult who's a anointed woman of God who shares and works, of course, in our ministry, and then many of you see her on second and fourth Sundays or any other time that she pops up, and she's supporting, and many of you know that she's also what I coin a poet laureate. We have our own poet laureate in our midst, and in person of Leah, Waldo. We're excited to have her share in our midweek time on tonight. And just before I turn everything over to her, I just wanted to share just a few pastoral observations for this week as we are preparing for this weekend, of course, and the rest of the month. Of course, this Sunday, we are certainly looking forward to Pastor Cynthia, Pastor C, sharing the word on this weekend during our virtual service, and it's going to be a great and anointed time. You do not want to miss this weekend service. Don't forget that all of us bring forward on this weekend, so turn those clocks up an hour before you turn in on this Saturday evening, so that you can be on time for the virtual sanctuary on Sunday. And we're also looking forward to a great fellowship with our brothers on Saturday, March the 20th at 3 p.m. And as you are coming on again, please share that with your significants who are brothers, and we're looking forward to sharing that time with them again on March the 20th. We are again excited to have Leah sharing with us, and as I usually do, I'm going to remove myself, and I'll pop back on as she has concluded our time of midweek empowerment on tonight.
Thank you, Pastor Myron. Good evening, Shiloh. I'm really excited to be sharing with you guys. As you know, this is the year of relentless faith, and our focus for the month is relentless commitment. So I just wanted to talk to you guys for a few minutes about, what God has given me on the topic of being relentless when it comes to our commitment to Christ and our commitment to our relationship with Him. Naturally, I'm an English teacher. A lot of you know that. So, of course, the first thing I had to do was to define the words relentless and commitment. It's just a thing that I do. So, what does it mean to be relentless? According to the dictionary, relentless is oppressively constant, and it's incessant. Incessant means without ceasing. So, relentless is anything that you do consistently, consistent, without ceasing at all. Incessant. And then commitment. Commitment has two definitions. The first definition is the quality of being dedicated to a cause. That is the most familiar definition that everyone is familiar with, the quality of being dedicated to a cause. However, the second definition, and the one I like to focus on a little bit, is an engagement or obligation that restricts freedom of action. I think that definition is really interesting because it acknowledges the fact that we do have freedom of action. We can do what we want to do. But when you're committed to something, you acknowledge the fact that because of your obligations or your engagements or your relationship with Christ in this case, there are certain freedoms that you decide not to act on. And that is the level of commitment that Christ wants from us. He gives us free will. We can do what we want, but He wants us to be so committed to Him that we choose Him instead. So that brings me to one of my first points, that being committed is indeed a choice. My overall point is being relentlessly committed to God requires you to first choose Him, be open to instruction, and then to trust Him to do the rest. The first thing that we have to do is to choose God. He wants us to be a choice. He doesn't want to force Himself on us. He wants us to come to Him willingly, and He wants us to choose Him over anything else. Matthew 22:37 says, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind." It also says that is the greatest commandment. So His greatest commandment to us is to love Him with all our heart, our souls, and our minds. Being committed requires us to first submit to God, like we are committed to our relationships, our friendships, working out, your lifestyles, your jobs. He wants that same commitment to Him. He wants us to commit to him in the same way. It's also important to note that he doesn't just want us to love him with our hearts, but he also wants us to love him with our souls and our minds too. Loving God with your soul and your mind pushes us to love him even when we don't feel like it, or even when we aren't feeling our best. Our minds and our souls are also committed to God. So it pushes past what we feel in our hearts. We have to continuously choose God, even if it's not convenient, even if it's not comfortable, even if it's a lot of times choosing God brings us into uncomfortable places, and that's okay. We still have to choose him in spite of. That is literally what relentless commitment means. It means that you're committed relentlessly without ceasing, no matter what. My second point is, after you choose him, you must be open to instruction. Proverbs 23:12 says, commit yourself to instruction, listen carefully to words of knowledge. Being relentlessly committed to God literally requires us to be lifelong learners. We are always learning, and we have to be open to wisdom and instruction from other people. We have to be open to instruction from our pastors. We have to be committed to studying our word, learning more, lifelong learners. We can't just say, okay, I'm saved, I'm committed to God, and then that's when the work stops. No, we have to stay in our word. We have to stay connected to positive people without ceasing. Reading our word consistently. And it also requires us to listen carefully to words of knowledge. And listening carefully to words of knowledge, we have to be very careful of who we get that knowledge from, right? We can't seek knowledge from everybody, because everybody is not speaking godly knowledge. That's just the fact. Not everybody is speaking to our best selves or for our best interests. So it requires us to be wise about who we seek knowledge from. And we must pray and ask God who we should build these relationships with. We can't seek knowledge from our horoscopes. We can't seek knowledge from social media. We can't even seek knowledge from ourselves sometimes, because sometimes we're in our feelings, we're emotional, and our feelings may lead us astray. So we have to constantly be in prayer. We have to constantly be in our word, and we have to constantly establish positive relationships. We all have friends who we call, and let's be honest, some of our friends are yes men. Some of our friends just listen, or they just tell us what they think we want to hear. Sometimes some of my friends say things and I'm looking like, is that really what you're going to say to me right now? We know who we can seek godly knowledge from, and we should begin to pull on those relationships and, be consistent about seeking knowledge from godly people, godly good wisdom, not just anything. So not only must we be committed to instruction, but we have to be prayerful about where we get that instruction from. Lastly, after we've made the decision to choose God and we've committed to being open to instruction, we must trust God. That is the third thing. We have to trust him. Psalm 37:5 says, commit everything you do to the Lord, trust him, and he will help you. This is a conditional promise from God. He already says, commit everything you do to the Lord, trust him. Those are the first two things. Commit, trust God, and he will help you. That is his promise to us. It requires us to commit in everything we do, not just on Sundays, not just when I'm singing on the praise team, not just when we have an assignment, but in everything we do. When we're driving, when we're teaching, when we're parenting, when we're being a friend, our relationship to God, our relationship with God should still be on the forefront of that, right? We're committed to him in everything that we do. And when we commit to him, he's already promised us that he will help us. All we have to do is commit and to trust. A great example of this is when people bake, when they bake cakes. You have to put the perfect ingredients in. You have to mix the cake the right way and make sure that you have the measurements and everything down to a science. And then you put it in the oven. And when you put it in the oven, you have to leave it in the oven. Anybody will tell you if you open the oven, if you peek at it, the cake may fall, something can happen. You'll ruin your cake if you peek. That's the same thing. So us being committed to God, us being open to instruction, those are the ingredients for our cake. And once we put the cake in the oven, we have to trust God to do the rest of the work. We have to trust him to do what he's promised us he will do. And he's promised us that he will help us. And so we have to trust that he does that. The cake is the same way that we are committing to God relentlessly, right? We are preparing to bake a cake, and as long as we've used the right ingredients and measurements, we can trust him to do his thing. We can trust him to do the rest. We can't relentlessly commit one day. It is something that we must do daily. We have to daily choose to commit to God. And that is what being relentless is. It is choosing him. It is being open to instruction and seeking knowledge. And it is trusting him to do the rest. I like to close with the scripture, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. So the moral of this story is that in order for us to be relentlessly committed to God, we have to submit to his will. We have to be committed to our relationship with God. We have to be committed to doing the work. It requires work. It won't be easy. The devil is always ready and he's busy. And as soon as we decide to commit to the Lord, as soon as we decide to turn our lives over to God, he's going to be right there with us, which is why we have to stay in our word, link up with some positive people, keep your prayer life on lock, because you got to stay prayed up, okay? Because the devil is really busy. But keep your prayer life on lock and God will do the rest. We have to trust God to meet us where he is. His promise is right there in the scripture. Again, Psalm 37:5, he promises us if we commit in everything we do to the Lord and if we trust him, he will help us. I truly believe that in my heart. My life is living proof of that. God has helped me and I truly believe he will help you. I hope that you're blessed by this. I hope that God, does something with you. And I hope that we all are on the road to being relentless faith, relentless commitment, just being relentless men and women of God. I hope you guys have a strong week, Shiloh, and thanks for joining us.
Amen. Awesome thought. And I know each of you were blessed by our facilitator on tonight, or as I just call her, our poet laureate. Such a great, impactful word. She didn't take a whole lot of time to get her point across. She executed it. And man, I am so proud. I'm a proud Uncle Pastor for tonight. Man, you just don't know. I am so proud of you. And I know many of you who are watching on tonight, you are proud of her as well. Man, I'm excited for our ministry. Shiloh, let me tell you something. We are a blessed congregation. And if you take time to glean from the word and glean from, as I often say, if you glean from at least one takeaway from the night, man, you will experience transformation. You will really embody the theme for this month, which is relentless commitment. Thank you, Leah, so much for sharing your thoughts, your heart, and doing it your way. And man, I'm proud. I'm so proud. I really am. Again, Shiloh, join us for this weekend in the virtual sanctuary. It's going to be a great word. The worship is going to be awesome, man. I can't wait for you to experience our time together in the virtual sanctuary and continue to have a strong week and stay safe. Don't forget to spring forward 1 hour on this weekend so that you won't be late, because you do not want to miss the service on this weekend. And but if you do miss it, you can always come back. You can go catch us on Facebook, or you can catch us on YouTube. Matter of fact, sometimes the second time is even better. But anyway, continue to have an awesome evening and an awesome night. And again, thank you so much. Thank you, Leah. And we look forward to seeing you guys in the virtual sanctuary on this weekend. Shalom, shalom.